Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brampton Board of Trade's Experts Interview Series. And today we are interviewing two amazing young professionals that are helping companies to define, create, and execute their digital transformation strategies. I'm joined today by Gurmeet Mangat of DDB Consultants and Masha Ali of Culture Up, an HR consulting firm. Welcome to you both. So happy that you're here today.
Thanks for having us, Todd. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We're going to be talking today about how technology is changing everything from how we work to how we shop, how we bank, how we entertain ourselves. It's a world of constant change, and it's important for organizations, big and small, to keep up with these changes and stay relevant to their employees, relevant to their customers and suppliers in an increasingly competitive marketplace. Masha is the owner of Culture Up HR Solutions, and Gurmeet Mangat, owner of DDB Consultants, are here to walk us through some new trends and solutions that will deliver measurable results on time and within budget. So let me introduce our experts here today. Masha Ali started Culture Up in 2020 after 15 years in the field of HR management, with the goal of helping as many companies as possible with areas such as HR health and safety compliance, recruitment, culture development, and engagement. Masha has worked in many different industries, such as in freight forwarding and logistics, consulting, and construction. Gurmeet has a very successful track record over the last decade as an entrepreneur, tech leader, a leader in leadership development. Gurmeet Mangat blends his varied technical background to lead best-in-class operations management and customer service. He started DDB Consultants in 2019, and with his 15 years of experience, he's issued the lean manufacturing system in high-tech environments to help elevate the way organizations apply their technology. Okay, well, let's start with our first question to Gurmeet today. I know that a lot of companies are looking, coming out of this pandemic, looking at the new normal as being different. We can't seem to just go back to the way we did business before. There are a couple of ways that this is manifesting itself. When we survey companies, they seem to be more interested in and when we survey employees, more interested in a more equitable, sustainable society. They're looking, in particular, talent is looking to join companies that have an alignment of the corporate values with their own personal values, and that's sometimes referred to as a sustainable organization. I know the UN has come up with 17 sustainable development goals that are environment-based, equity-based, etc. And it's really changing the way companies, or at least those companies that are best competing, those companies that are looking for a competitive advantage, are looking at becoming more sustainable. Why don't you tell us what do you mean by a sustainable company, and how the services that you provide can help companies attain that sustainability?
Awesome. Yeah, no, great question, Todd. Again, thanks for having me today. So sustainability, what that means today is very different than what it was 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, as long as there was a market, businesses could be sustainable. Customers didn't change a lot of their demands. Today the demands are changing. Customization is important. Everybody wants reduced lead times, improve quality, reduce cost. And that will always be the case. There will always be that demand coming from the external customer. Now, as a business to be sustainable, you have to respond to those in some way, shape, or form. And it's a two-part component in how we help some of our clients. We look at the leadership team first and we say, what is your vision, right? And in some cases, we'll ask the leadership team on the same question, we'll get 5 different answers across the board. Okay, so there's the first opportunity to making sure you guys are sustainable. The leadership team has to be aligned in their vision. They have to see the future through the exact same lens, right? And if one or two of them don't see it the same way, well, then let's help you align yourselves so that everyone sees the same path. That way the journey is consistent, it's not disrupted, and you've got a laser focus on what needs to happen. The second component to sustainable business, once you have the vision in place, okay, great. Now everyone's seeing the same thing. How do you get there? Like, what are the incremental steps? What's the day-to-day actions? What's the monthly targets, the quarterly targets that we have to hit to ensure that we're actually walking down this journey? So that's the traction component, right? What is your digital strategy? That does it align with your vision? And is it solving the customer problems? What are you hearing from your customers internally and externally? Even more so today, that internal customer is so much more important to listen to, because the internal customer are the people that we're hiring. They're different minds now today. They want different things than we did 20 years ago. And that's some of the challenges that employers are facing right now. You know, we can't staff up correctly. We can't get the right people on our team. We can't keep them long enough. And that kind of goes back to, okay, what's your vision for this business? You know, what's the culture that you want? What type of incentives do you think are going to keep the people on board? And then when you have that good digital strategy in place, it creates that traction. Not only do you respond to your external customer needs by reducing lead time, you know, improving quality, reducing the cost to them, especially right now, when you have that digital strategy in place, you're creating an environment that is more receptive to the people of today when they come into work. Right.
Good point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, really, really good point. So sustainability comes with an alignment of vision, some consistency in purpose, so that, as you say, both your customers, your external customers, but your internal customers, your employees, can identify clearly what you stand for, what breaks your heart, what upsets you, what problems as a corporation you're there to solve in the world. And then, as you say, once you have that alignment, having a digital strategy that amplifies it is so important as well. We'll come back to the technologies that might help to digitize and implement that strategy. I want to ask Masha a question. Gurmeet mentions the importance of attracting talent and keeping talent. Our companies, big and small, cross-sectoral, are all in a global war for the best and the brightest, or even those to fill some of our manual labor jobs as well. And HR can take a lot of time. Maybe you could share with us, how much time does it take to implement a digital HR management system, and what are the benefits of doing that in today's environment?
Great question, Todd. Again, thank you for having me. So basically, when we talk about digitalization, especially with the new workforce coming in, employees want to be able to access their information. They want to see their vacation. They want to request their vacation, and they want to see their performance review. They basically want everything at their hand, right? They want to be able to look at it with their cell phone. They don't want to be punching in with these, have information accessible, not just for staff, but also for your supervisors and leaders to be able to manage their staff without calling HR all the time and say, hey, can you send me Bob's review, or can you send me Mary's, performance reviews and compensation history. So, having all that in place is really going to help to engage everybody in the organization. And with regards to how long it takes to implement, there's so many different parts of an HR system, right? You have the health and safety, time and attendance, the COVID screening, you got performance management, and it really depends on how many people you have in the organization. So if we're talking a company of 20 employees, this is great. Like, we can actually get a system up and running within a month, with some of the core features going. And then, because you don't want to shock everyone with 100 different things in a new system, it's actually better to just get everyone familiar with logging in, using the vacation, and then we start to add different features and different functions that they can do. And, within a couple of months, everything is up and running. If we're talking a large scale company with, thousands of employees, and depending on the big bang versus a staged approach, this could take before they go live, right? So it really depends on the company size.
Right. You make some great examples there. There was a time 5 years ago when smaller companies in particular wouldn't even think about an HR management system because they would have thought that they're too small, that they can manage it on their own. But it's how well can you manage a system that's not automated? Yes, we can all have Excel spreadsheets all over the place, but what if the number of vacation days is challenged, etc. It seems as though the tide has turned in the last few years, where HR management systems are both affordable and easy to implement for small businesses as well as large. Is there any particular benefit to small businesses of looking at HR management systems today?
Oh, of course. I mean, small businesses, you're still going to have whatever the setup is of the organization. So having everybody to be able to access their information and be able to manage your workforce, no matter where they're working from, is going to benefit any size organization, right? And again, it's not like before where these systems are going to cost $300,000 and stuff like that. Because I've seen things at the beginning of my career for just a regular time and attendance system that costs over $350,000, and I was just in shock of it. But now things are so much more affordable. There's so many different things that companies can do, and they'll all benefit from not having paper files. No more looking for an email that was sent that somebody is supposed to give somebody an increase. And, how many times do we know that it's basically an email that's get printed and then signed off and put in a file, and then we just hope that it made it in a file for auditing. So any size company can benefit from having it.
Great. And thanks for those examples, because those of us that have run small businesses know that you kind of lose sleep at night ensuring that, yes, that wonderful meeting you just had with staff and the increase that you gave them, that it's actually implemented in their next paycheck. You can't take those things for granted without a system. Now, Gurmeet, in your response to the question about sustainable companies, you talked about the vision and the purpose and the alignment of that among the leaders of the company, and that also includes today, I think, embracing change and technology. Well, there are early adopters and there are those that aren't as early. How can we motivate companies, and how do we need to think differently or change the mindset around the adoption of technology in our firms?
Good question. So, change is one of those things that it's difficult, but I can confidently say to the listeners that change is the one thing we can confidently predict is going to happen. We know that's going to happen, right? So, and in terms of the adoption of technology, the way I like to kind of bring everyone down at ground level and understand this is that I break our day up into two components. There's our 9 to 5 and then our 5 p.m. to 9 or 10 p.m. in the evening. So a lot of us that are in that 5 to 10 p.m. have an in-home assistant. We all have a cell phone. We all use technology to our advantage to make our lives easier. So now that we all understand that, we adopt technology very easily at a certain time frame in our day. When we go back to the 9 to 5, there's a bit of a resistance. And I still have yet to figure out why that resistance is there when there's a definitive line in our day. When we leave work and go home, we're automated. When we're at work, we're semi-automated, let's call it. So I think it's raising the awareness that we do like change. We do appreciate technology. We do understand how it adds value to our day when we're at home. So now the time is still yours, whether you're at home or at work, right? We are just being reimbursed for a salary to be there in that building or in that office. So you still have to value your time the exact same way that you do at home. Those seconds are just as important. That time is just as important. Just because you're paid by the hour, we hear a lot, it doesn't mean that time is less valuable to you, right? The value of it has to be the same throughout the entire day. So, appreciating that time is yours is an important component. And then B, I think how we change and how we bring technologies into the business, it's important for leadership to know to bring that technology in so you're solving their problem, right? You don't bring it in because it's the most popular thing happening right now and it's a trend, right? The trend is not necessarily going to drive positive adoption on the change, right? It's what problems and pain points exist in your business for your people, and put technology in place to help them solve that pain point, right? And once you slowly start solving the pain point, you get their feedback, you get them to give you the ideas on what needs to change. Then they see, okay, I communicated, I want this done. They did it for me. I'm going to adopt the change because they directly helped me. So it very much has to be something, if you want high adoption on the change, if you want an ROI, if you want people to be happy after the technology is in place, the idea has got to come from your teams up to the leadership team, and then they can decide how the strategy works and how the budget is allocated to what tool, et cetera. But the problems you have to solve have to be the ones on the front line.
The analogy that you bring to our consumer experience or our personal experience and how we're leveraging technology in our cars to keep our car in the right lane assist, voice technology to change the radio station on our car, for example. Maybe we've got Alexa or something at home, and of course when we're shopping and our Amazon experience with delivery next day. It's an interesting analogy that you separate our two lives, personal and professional. We use technology a lot in our personal stage, and those same expectations in terms of delivery times, in terms of response rates, are what I think can motivate business owners and the senior management of teams to adopt new technology and to help orient and explain. And sometimes it's the middle management that has to sell it to the business owner, who may be of a different age than they are, and bringing the analogy of how home technology or car technology it brings the conveniences, and relating it to bringing more convenience to your customer is certainly a good analogy. Masha, in HR management systems in particular, can you break it down for us? You mentioned attendance tracking as one feature. What are the core features of an HR management system, and what are like the big time savers for companies that might motivate them to make the leap to explore and compare systems that are out there?
Sure. So first, it's better to just explain HR technology is, not one product, right? There's so many different aspects of it. You have applicant tracking systems, which is so widely used, right? People use Indeed, LinkedIn, they may be using, there's so many different ones out there. I can't even think of them, to just post jobs and manage their applicants, right? And then you have your other HR technologies, such as systems to do assessments and personality tests and background checks. You have your benefit systems, you have your payroll systems. Sometimes it's the same as your HR system. And these days you have a big push for learning management systems, right? Because especially with the pandemic forcing us to work remote, we have companies that are like, how are we training our new employees on our core, practices and, how to do all these jobs? They're recording their training and they're uploading it to a learning management system. There's also the HR training, your harassment and violence training, and they're plopping it in these learning management systems, assigning it to staff, and boom, they don't have to worry about any travel. And then you have that core human capital management system. And, the difference between what we used to call like a HRIS, human resources information system or management system, and then the human capital is really containing a lot more information about your staff. And if you use it correctly, it can actually help you produce so much data and analytics that can help a business make really great decisions moving forward. right? So you're tracking your health and safety incidents, you're tracking your performance management reviews, you're keeping track of the skills of your staff. So you can say, you know, all these people have great, you know, VLOOKUP experience. These people have like really good leadership skills, mentoring skills. You know, these people are great in accounting. And that helps us when you're looking at succession planning, because then you can say, hey, you know, who's got these types of skills? Oh, right, because in 5 years, we're going to need to start looking at these 5 roles, and let's start grooming these people. And then you look at diversity. If you start tracking things like, you know, the ethnicity of your staff with consent, you can start looking at your departments and say, hey, you know, how much diversity do we have at the top table? Is all of our diversity at the front line? What do we need to do to move forward and actually help some of these people in these marginalized groups get a seat at the leadership table? And, you know, perhaps we're going to look at engagement, right? And now we can pin down the engagement of specific departments. Maybe the turnover is bad in Sarah's department, right? And so we've got to start looking at that. So, you know, there's so much information you can put in there: performance management, your, you know, your position, your history, and all of this. You know, there's so much in there that you put in there just to make the system work, right? And then you have the employee data, but it's really endless, all the stuff that you can put in there, and it really depends on the HR system, but there is just absolutely so much you can do with it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Very good response in terms of the many different ways that you can use it. I'm going to ask the same question to you both to kind of close us off. You know, what is the tipping point, or what are the pain points that your clientele have been experiencing? What are the top 3 pain points of why they should give you a call, or when it's best to give you a call to explore an HR management system or a digitization strategy in Gurmeet's case? What are the I guess the warning signs or the triggers that best prompt a call to either of you? Gurmeet, do you want to go first?
Sure. You know, the big thing for us, we focus on the small and medium-sized businesses, and for a lot of the owners of those businesses, when you feel like you can't put your arms around your business anymore and get a good grip on it, it likely means you're ready for the next stage of growth, or you need some sort of major process change internally to get your arms around it again, right? If you've got a very reactive business and you want to start working in that real-time environment, you know, no longer sitting in a meeting looking at a job cost for a project that closed 6 months ago, only to find out you didn't make any money, right? We can help you get that on a daily basis, that real-time job costing, for example. That's really what we are trying to help businesses with, right? Get out of that reactive mode and work proactively. I mean, our slogan for our business is, you know, don't work on the past, work in the future, kind of thing, right? And that's where we want to get our clients. You know, if you really want to be real-time, transparency, data at your fingertips, just like at home. That's all we're trying to do, is we're trying to mimic what you have at home in your business.
Right. Managing a family budget or managing a business budget are very similar, but having the right tools where you can properly measure and compare, as you say, costs and otherwise, good place to start. That's for sure. Masha, what do you think? When do customers normally give you a call? What are their top 3 pain points, and how can we help them, or how can you help them decide what kind of solution is best for their business? Gurmeet, I'm unsure. Can you hear Masha?
Great question.
Yes.
So basically, when employers start having... Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you might want to start over. Yep, go ahead.
You can't hear me?
Yep, go ahead now. Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay. So yeah, great question. When businesses have 15 plus employees, they actually start getting bogged down with so many HR tasks and different, forms and paperwork. And you find that's when they really start needing HR, but because of their size, they don't need a full-time HR person, right? So I find that that's when 15, 20 employees, they start saying, hey, it's time to, get some HR, get help, and try and figure out, how do we grow, but not just grow to get by, but how do we grow properly, right? So you find that's usually when businesses are like, help us, right? Help us figure out what do we do to do this better. Once a business gets past 40 employees and they don't have HR or anything like that, it really does get tough for them to manage everything.
Yeah, great parameters there, right around the 15 point. And like you say, if it gets to 40 without a system, you start losing significant control. Good for you both. I'm really happy for you both. Happy that you teamed up to interview with us today. I think that our listeners and viewers learned a lot about when and how and why they should look at digitization strategies and HR management systems. My guests again have been Gurmeet Mangat of DDB Consultants and Masha Ali of Culture Up. They're proud members of the Brampton Board of Trade. We'll put their emails in the chat so that you can reach out to them. Thank you both for your insightful responses to our questions today. We have recorded our session, and our viewers can watch it in the future as well. Just to close out, I want to thank not only Masha and Gurmeet, but thank you to our sponsors, CN, Deloitte, Citizen Insurance, and Toronto Pearson. We have an exciting session coming up this Friday called Future Ready. It's a Future Ready update. It's the afternoon of 1 p.m. on Friday, December 3rd. We'll be having conversations with Glenn Williams and Chris Grew about the growth of Brampton, in terms of the major infrastructure projects that are planned, highways, transit systems, and how we're going to pay for it, how businesses are going to contribute toward it. Glenn's going to help us better understand the City of Brampton budget as well, which is under negotiations this weekend and this month. We're starting to look forward to 2022. Happy December, everybody. The State of the City is one of our major events where we invite the Mayor of Brampton, Mayor Patrick Brown, and the new leader of the Brampton's business community, the chair of the Brampton Board of Trade, Donna Fagan-Pascal, VP at Dynacare. Both Mayor Brown and Donna will be articulating their visions for the future, what to expect in 2022. That's February 8th. You'll want to put it in your calendar. It starts about 11:30 with some networking and then the presentations over the lunch hour. It's at Millennium Gardens. It's going to be in real life, IRL, folks. We're so looking forward to 2022, and we hope to see you there at State of the City. Just a reminder as well, Brampton business women meet at Connect Work, and one of their big events is the Inspire Her International Women's Day event. It is inspiring. It's March 2nd. It's in the evening, and just a wonderful opportunity to network with colleagues and celebrate the leadership of some amazing women in our community. That's March 2nd. You can register for both of these events at bramptonbot.com. Thank you again, Masha. Thank you again, Gurmeet, and thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you at a Board of Trade event sometime in the near future. Take care now.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.